everybody, it's Oksana. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Tree of Life adjustable cabochon ring. So it involves having a small cabochon stone. It's got a little Tree of Life on it. It's got this little heart in the back holding the stone in. And it's got this ring band, which is adjustable because it doesn't touch all the way, so you can kind of make it tighter or looser, however you want. So if you want to see how to make this, just keep watching. So I'm starting out with a piece of 16 gauge copper round dead soft wire. This is about 9 inches. And then I'm starting out with a little oval cabochon. It's about 20 millimeters. And the size and shape doesn't really matter as long as it, can be worn as a ring. It will fit on your finger. So what you need to do is find the middle of your wire. And you need to bend the wire around the cab. So this is kind of hard to do up in the air. But ideally, you would be doing this on a flat surface. And then it would be easier for you. Alright, I'm going to try and hold my camera like this so that I can do this. But basically, you want to bend your wire around your stone to make like a little frame for your stone. And then here, on the edge of it, you want to take your pliers and bend it so that it goes out like this. And you don't want this to be super tight, like there's no space between the wire and the stone, because we're gonna have to put some additional wire through there. So just make sure that there's adequate space between this wire and your stone, that there's like little gaps at least. And then I'm going to hammer it. There we go, like that. See little gaps? Then I'm going to hammer this wire to strengthen it. Alright, sometimes hammering it enlarges it, so it might help having that gap around your stone there. So now we're going to weave on this part of the ring, and this is going to be our band. So I'm taking some 26 round dead soft 26 gauge wire, copper wire, I'm putting it in between. And I am bringing it up to make a loop around the bottom wire, and then I'm making another loop around the top wire. So if your band needs to be a little open, like my band is just naturally a little open, to have it be the right size, if I push these wires together, it's going to make my frame smaller. So if that's the same for you, then just make sure that you keep it open and you don't accidentally push the two wires together, making your frame smaller. So sorry, I kind of lost track of my pattern here as I was talking to you. So it's one wrap around the bottom, bring it up, one wrap around the top, and then bring it all the way down. So I do this pattern a lot. You might have already seen it or done it, but here's what it looks like, and here's what I'm going to do for my band. And you need this to be long enough, roughly, so that when your ring sits on your finger like this band is going to go all the way around, and it's going to come to touch this side. Obviously, since it doesn't actually connect to the side, because it's an adjustable ring, you don't have to make it, a specific ring size, but if it's kind of close to here, then, you know, it'll be good. So you can use a ring mandrel and bend it around like just an average ring size that you want it to fit. Or you can use a chapstick tube or something if you don't have a ring mandrel, just to get it to be that ring shape. But it actually would be easier if you didn't quite bend it yet into that ring shape. You just made it the right length. So what you can do is you can measure that length. You can just take like a string or something and have it go around your finger. I mean, this is kind of rough idea, but then you would start from here. So I would weave to here roughly. I mean, everyone's finger size is different, and even though this is an adjustable ring, you want it to be kind of close. So 2.5, maybe a little more than 2.5 inches for me anyways. So then when you're done with that, you can cut off this little tail end, you know, finish off your weave, and then we'll work on this part before we actually bend this into the shape of the ring. So once you're done with the band, you can actually curl these little ends. You can curl them inwards or outwards, however you want, whatever look you prefer, and you can cut them to be the same size, or like mine, they are a different size. It doesn't really matter. This is purely decorative. This will be the end of your band that comes and touches the other side of the ring. So I'm going to hammer that. Next I have a piece of 18 gauge wire. It's about 3 inches long. I'm bending it in half. This is going to be something that is going to go on the back of my ring. It's going to hold the cabochon, prevent it from popping up and out. So you can make any kind of little squiggly design, whatever you want, as long as it's small enough to be in the back of your ring. So like that. The nice thing about the heart is you can kind of bring it close together or further apart. But this is going to be something in the back preventing your stone from falling out. So set that aside. And now you need a few pieces of 24 gauge wire. Round dead. All my wire is always dead soft, and in most cases round. In this video it's all round. These are 4.5 inches long. So of course this will vary with your stone size. I'm going to go about 1 inch inwards, hold them all together in one bunch, and I'm going to twist. So this is 10 pieces. I can't remember if I said that this is 10 pieces of wire. You can do 8 as well, or you can do however many you want, but 8 and 10 seems to be a good number. So these are my roots. This is my tree trunk. You can twist the roots further together, like twist them in little bunches of 2 or 3, or you can leave them all individual. This is up to you. You can spread all these out and have them all be individual branches, or you can twist them. This, you know, is a very personal preference thing, how you like your trees to look. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a little twist here. I separated in half, so 5 and 5. And now 2 and 3. I'm going to twist that just a tiny bit there. You don't want these to be super long though. You want to look at your stone, because this has to fit onto your stone, this tree. And because we're making a ring, it's pretty small. So you want to kind of double check as you're making this. Make sure you don't have to undo any of these branches to make them shorter. So Here's my little tree on my little stone. So I'm good with that. I like to bend my tree trunks a little bit. Kind of a crooked tree effect. Totally up to you how you do it though. Everyone's got a different preference. So this is where using tape is going to be really helpful, because we have to attach this tree to the stone and this frame with the little heart in the back. So blue painter tape is great. Mine's kind of far right now, so I just grabbed regular tape. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to shape the tree gently around the stone, because the stone is rounded. And the tree right now is flat. So you want to just shape it around it so it's got a slight roundness to it. Then we're taking our ring frame and our heart. And we're taking our piece of tape and we are taping it on, trying to avoid getting any tape on the roots. Okay, so like this. Now I'm going to hold it upside down. And what you want to do is you want to attach all of these roots. Here's the back. Just going to tweak my little heart. Got discombobulated there. Okay. So here's how you attach the heart, for example. Take one of your roots, you put it through the heart and the frame. You're holding the tree with your finger, because if you tend to pull hard, you might pull everything out of place when you pull just now, the way that I was pulling on this. And now you're going to put it just through the frame, or you can do it twice around the heart. It's up to you how many times. Putting it around my frame. Now I'm going to attach the next root. And what you can do is you can leave no gaps in the frame. Like when you do this wrap, see how you can see, you know, where the wire of the roots is wrapped around the frame. So you can line them up so they're like right next to each other. So there's no frame showing at the end when you're done attaching all your roots and branches. Or you can just, you know, do a few wraps, like 3 wraps, and then that's it, just be finished, and then you'll have little gaps where your frame is showing. So what I'm going to do is, I like it to fill in the gaps, so I'm going to try and weave in between everything. And once I attach the roots, then it's a little easier to hold. Then you're attaching the branches, but I'll come back and show you that part. Alright, so I attached all my roots. Here they are, sticking out in the back. We're going to deal with that later. You can take off your tape now. And work on the branches. So the branches are going to get a little bit separated out. And again, you can kind of do this to your liking, how you want them to go. I'm going to cross. I like to cross these top two. So this is going to be my tree. You can kind of adjust things if you need to. Like so. Now we're flipping to the back again. And I like to start with the top here. So at this point I'm holding things with my fingers because the stone can fall out and slip out. So I'm taking one of those top 2 wires. I like to start by attaching those. And what you can do is you can wrap just like 2 or 3 times, or you can wrap as many times as you need to fill in the gap and to cover up that frame. So you will either have the frame visible in parts, or you will have the entire frame covered by wrapping these wires around it, and that's personal preference, whether you want to do that or not. Oops, that went the wrong way. Alright, so see how they're crossing over, so I brought it to the front, but I went over that other wire. I'm trying to keep it here in between. So you would fill in the gap completely so that everything is covered, if you don't like having little gaps, or you would have a gap like this. See the little gap? So now what I like to do is do the side heart, because when you do that, then the stone stays in, and then the rest of it you can kind of relax. Your stone will be in. Right now I'm still trying to hold everything in place. So wrapping around the heart and the frame, and then wrapping around just the frame to secure, and then same thing on the other side. You want to kind of look which wires are best for the job, depending on how your tree is. And this is why we needed a slight gap between the frame and the stone so that you can get your wires through there. Alright. There we go. And with the heart, you can kind of pull it in more if you need to. So the best thing that I found is attaching the roots, then the very top branches, then the side branches, because the side branches will be holding, in this case, my heart shape in place, so that after you do that, there's still a lot of branches left to attach, but now everything's secure. The back is on there. The stone's not coming out the back, it's not coming out the front. The tree is holding it on kind of on each side, so it's not moving anywhere. So now I can work on attaching my other branches, which is what I'm gonna go ahead and do, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alright, they're all attached, and as you can see the weave that I have going around, I have this one little gap where I didn't have enough wire. So if you're wanting to cover the whole thing with wire, which you don't have to do, you can have lots of little gaps, but if you are wanting to do that like I'm trying to do here, you can get just an extra little piece of 24 gauge wire, and you can just fill in that gap by just wrapping that around and around your frame. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and I just want to show you real quick. So one of my branches, I brought it to the back here after I had, wrapped it around the frame a few times, and I brought it through and I connected my heart, these two little pieces together, which you don't have to do. I just thought that it might make it more stable. So now I'm cutting my wires. So here's what you want to do with your root and your branch wires. So you want to cut it so that there's just like a little tiny bit of it left. And then you're going to take your pliers, and these are Xuron tweezer nose pliers, which I like because they're tiny, and you're going to take that little tiny bit and you're going to turn it in that direction and then just kind of pinch it down in there so that it looks seamless and it goes under there and nothing's sticking up. So you just want to do that with all your little wire ends. Just cut them all and push them down under so that this is all smooth and nothing is sticking out. And now, this is something that I personally like to do. You can leave it as it is, but I like to take my round nose pliers. Again, these are the Xuron brand, just like my regular pliers. And I like to do this with the branches. Make them all wavy instead of straight. So it's up to you whether you like that look or not. And I like to do that with my roots as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing that to all of them. Alright, so that's all done. Back, front. Now you just take your mandrel, ring mandrel, put the ring on the size that you want, and just bend it around it. This might even be a little bit too big. I might have to trim the little curls and shorten them because I wanted this to be about a 7. But anyways, that's not that important. Yeah, it's about a 7.5, 8. So it's adjustable because this portion can kind of get slightly bigger, slightly smaller. It's hard to bend this around the ring mandrel because this is such a big stone. But that's it. That's how you make a Tree of Life cabochon ring, adjustable ring. And if you don't want it to be adjustable, you can attach these loops with some of these branches when you're attaching everything. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.